So, yeah, I'm going to start off with Jimmy here at quarterback. Name two of your high-tier guys that you're looking at.
So for quarterback, two of the high-tier guys that I have, I'm going to go right back to the game that you kind of talked about, Russell Wilson. I'm going to try and trust that Seattle is going to continue to use Russell Wilson with this new offense that they have with the offensive coordinator that came from the Rams, right? They opened it up a little bit last week. I think that 7,500 is going to push a lot of people off of him. And I think a lot of people are going to say, oh, well, Tennessee is going to get it back together. But the fact of the matter is one of the reasons why I wanted to play Tannehill and some of the other passing options last week is Tennessee's secondary is terrible. And I know that they want to run the ball with Derrick Henry, but dude, they're just going to have to throw a lot because they're going to give up a lot of points, right?
Their whole defense is bad. It's not
good.
Just their secondary. It's not good, man.
They have – I feel like there's this weird stigma out there that because Rabel's this like defensive guy that people think that they have a good defense. But I'm gonna go right back to Russell Wilson. And then another guy that I talked about earlier that Vinnie was like, oh, we're going there, huh? Is Josh Allen. Burned a lot of people last week. I didn't play any of him last week. Playing Miami, on the road. But, I mean, Miami's got a good defense. But, again, it's so slanted toward the offense these days, the rules and just kind of the game flow of everything. The Bills are just a legit offense. And especially this is a situation where if you just wanted to play Josh Allen by himself or pair him up with Stephon Diggs and then just kind of move on, I'm totally fine with that. So Russ and Josh
not ignore,
are the two tops.
Yeah, let's not ignore that the Steelers' defense is scary good. Their defensive line is the best defensive line in the NFL. I know everyone's talking about the Potatoes D-line, but the Steelers D-line with Cameron Hayward alone and TJ Watt, they are all pros, and they are a force to be reckoned with. So, yeah, I think you're right. I think Josh Allen's going to have a get-right game for sure.
Well, so Vinnie, they got a lot of speed. The Steelers' defense has a lot of speed too, right? So, I mean, it really negated some of Josh Allen's running ability. I think he kind of gets back. I think he gets a rushing touchdown this week, and I'm going to have quite a bit of him.
Jim, real quick, your screen went dark. We'll keep rolling. Joe.
Vinny. All right. My two top quarterbacks. Tom Brady. He's my number one guy this week. The Falcons are an absolute disappointment, disgrace. Their offense is so bad that I think the Buccaneers are going to be on the field the entire time. I mean, they might even get 40 minutes of possession in this game. Tom Brady throws touchdowns. They'll get inside the 10-yard line, and they'll throw the ball. He'll throw to his tight ends. He'll do those little pick plays. And he might quarterback sneak one in. I know he's like 48 years old, but the guy will sneak it in the end zone if he needs to. 5 touchdowns last week, against the Cowboys. The Cowboys aren't great, but the Falcons are worse. So Tom Brady is my guy at the top. Number 2, I'm going with Justin Herbert. Vinny, you talked about this game. Cowboys games are all going to be shootouts this year. Take the over every single time, 70-plus points every game. I mean, just dial it in. Justin Herbert looked really good last week. 337 yards, 47 pass attempts. Cowboys defense is suspect. I mean, Herbert's going to go off. He just didn't get our touchdowns last week, 18 points. He just didn't get the touchdowns. But the volume's there. Herbert's going to go nuts. So those are my 2 top guys.
So real quick, just to kind of support Joey's point here, on the optimizer, Tom Brady has the highest projected potential ceiling of any quarterback on the slate this week of 37.5 points. So
the Falcons are so bad. It's insane. And their secondary's young. They're not good. Brady's going to pick them apart. Their linebackers are young too. It's going to be a train wreck.
So that's a good call, Joe. That's one that I particularly wasn't really just thinking about, just because I figured they might blow them out and it won't be too much. But again, they're going to blow them out and Brady might throw 7 touchdowns. So
yeah, I don't think Brady really cares that they're up 35-0. He'll still throw a tight end pop to Gronk.
It's very true.
So I have no worries about that at all. Like they're not taking him out.
He's not a guy that's going to come out of the game. He just does what he wants to, basically. Like Bruce Arians is going to say, "Hey, Tom, it's time to sit down." It's like he might come out like in the last 5 minutes, but when they're up 30. But that's about it, right? So
It
that's
doesn't
a good
scare
call,
me off
Joe.
at all.
It's a good call,
thank
Joe.
you. All right, Vinny, you're too high on.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you guys hit on a few of mine. I have Russ up there. I have Herbert up there as two of my favorites this week. I'll stick in that game. I like both sides of it, so I'll go Dak up there. Look, it's very clear here. McCarthy wants to throw the ball. Before Dak snapped his leg last year, I mean, he was leading the league in passing and throwing like 55 times a game. This is who they are, and this is who they want to be, right? Like they're not hiding it anymore. Zeke is a secondary player in that offense. That's fine, but I can't ignore Dak at 6,800. Like, I think he has every bit of upside, even though the Chargers defense is pretty good. They're just going to continue to throw. Like, they're not going to, it doesn't matter who they're playing. This is what they're going to do.
There's a few teams out there right now that are establishing that they're going to throw 45 times a game, no matter what.
McCarthy, I need to go and look at this, but McCarthy and Prescott together, their average passes like attempted per game have to be over 45. Like I would put a strong bet on that without even looking. So Dak up top for me. And again, if Herbert's going to shred this defense, like Dak's only more incentive to keep throwing. So love Dak here. And then I'll just keep winding it down to like price wise. This guy's probably more in the mid price, but I'm going to play Jalen Hurts. This pains me to say as a Niner fan, but you play with your head, not your heart. Dude, he looked really good last week. And we were all on him last week. He looked super sharp against, a horrible defense, sure. But, I don't know if anybody caught the Niner game, but they just surrendered 35 points or 30 points to the Lions, most of it in garbage time.
The worst receiving core in the league.
But I think Philly presents a problem for the Niners that if you watch a lot of their games that they've struggled with for the last couple of years, and that's Hurts can move. They struggle with mobile quarterbacks a lot. That wide nine is like pinned to a spot and get to it. If Hurts can move the pocket and break some of those tackles like early on, and I mean, you have guys that are running 4.2s, 4.3s all over the field. Jason Verrett, their best corner, just went down for the Niners last week. Dude, I mean, it's just hard to ignore the Eagles here, and they're still relatively pretty cheap, like overall as a stack. So those are like my two, one's high, one's mid, but kind of roundabouting it in the mid-range, Joe or Jim.
Jim, let's go to your like mid-low. If you have multiple guys, go for it.
I'll give one mid and then one real low.
Real low.
Here's another. I'm going back to this guy again. I played him a lot last week, and honestly, him stacked up with Jamar Chase is one of the reasons why I was able to fit a lot of guys in there and break even last week, even with about 65% of Mostert in my lineups, and that's Joe Burrow, 5,800 for a team that we just talked about. They're just going to throw the ball 35 to 45 times a game, and I mean, I don't know if I think that everybody watched the Chicago game. I mean, Chicago's defense is not very good, right?
They look very uninspired. I have this theory that no one wants to play because Nagy is trying to lose with Andy Dalton as their starting quarterback. Nobody gives a fuck.
I mean, look, and as of right now, I totally think that there's a lot of merit to that. I think once Fields becomes a starter, I think that'll give that team a pretty good shot of life. But we're 100%. Playing week 2 right now. I'm going back to Burrow. He's got a great, he's not going to be a bust, right? He's going to have to throw. For 5,800, that allows me a lot of flexibility for some other guys in there. And then my other guy going real low is I think about the lowest that I'm going to go this week is probably Sam Darnold at 5,200. I talked about him. That's a game I like with New Orleans and Carolina. 5,200. I mean, if he didn't have McCaffrey, then it would be tough. But I mean, McCaffrey got 27 points last week and didn't score a touchdown. So he those easy yards to McCaffrey are just something that's money in the bank for Sam. He's going to continue to build week after week off of his performances. So I think he's my lowest guy. I'm going to go down at 5,200 this week.
All right.
Joe?
I'm gonna go straight to my fade. We've talked about all my guys.
Oh wait, hold on. If we're going to our fade already, I'm really struggling here. I've got like 3 more that I like in the 3K and the 6K.
This is your problem. Yeah. You get like 12 quarterbacks a week. And
no, I don't. I'm saying I'm stuck on them right now. Like I have interest in Tannehill for the reasons Jim mentioned earlier. Tennessee is going to have to throw the ball on Sunday, right? Mm-hmm. Like have a little interest in Tannehill. Don't know if they can protect him, but I have interest in him. Mm-hmm. Stafford, how could you not after what we saw on Sunday night? Like Indy has a good front 7. They are going to throw. We just saw what Russ did to Indy. Again, very specific target shares. I think Stafford at 6,400 is very viable. And then you've got Cousins down there at 6,200. Again, Arizona is going to score points. Cousins is going to throw. Like I'm right now, like I want to play some of the guys up top, but I have a feeling the 6K range is where I'm going to live on Sunday. So I just want to throw those guys out there. Joe, you can jump into your fades, but
Yeah, no, I like it.
Or fade.
Yeah, who's your fade, Joe?
My fade is Matt Ryan. And I know it seems obvious, but there's this thing about Atlanta. People with Matt Ryan, they know he's going to score. They have this whole thing like, oh, him and Ridley are going to come back this week. Even in my head, I played Ridley last week, and even I was like, okay, Ridley, he's going to have a big week this week. Their offensive line is so bad that they couldn't even throw the ball over 15 yards because Matt Ryan didn't have time.
With all due respect, they did hit Ridley on like 5 straight passes to start the game, and then they just didn't throw to him for the next 55 minutes.
Because Matt Ryan couldn't even throw the ball past his tight end, dude. It was rough.
That like now he's going dead picture of him on the ground. The crime scene.
It's the best, and it's going to get worse this week against the Bucs.
Yeah. Y'all want to see a dead body?
Him. Like, if people have that mindset right now of the Bucs are going to put up points, Atlanta needs to throw, and they're going to put up points. Well, the Eagles just put up 32 against Atlanta last week, and Atlanta put up 6. So that whole thought process is gone for me. Matt Ryan's out. I'm just telling everyone, if that's going through your head at all, just get rid of it.
He's out. Jim. Out.
So my fade's going to be kind of a hot take here.
Don't take my guy.
My fade is going to be Jalen Hurts.
Oh, okay.
I get that the Niners typically have issues with running quarterbacks. It has not been their strong point over the last few years. I get that he looked really good last week, but it was against the Falcons.
Mm-hmm.
I really like what the Niners pass rush did in the beginning of the game. I think that they just kind of let their foot off the gas. And I actually am kind of happy that happened to them last week, because I think it kind of shocked their system a little bit. And I think that they're just going to try and put it on Jalen Hurts. Now, the Eagles do have a very good offensive line, right? That's we can't ignore that. It's very healthy. But I think as we move closer to the weekend, I think he's going to get, into an ownership range where a lot of people are going to like him. And I think he might end up being my fade. So for right now, like if I had to pick somebody, that's my fade.
All right.
Yeah.
Can't believe I'm about to say this, but I'm not saying this because I don't think he's an amazing player and going to score on Sunday. I'm not paying this price. And I think there's a lot of guys that have upside that could at least like make up the difference, like point per dollar. I just don't know if I'm going to have any Kyler Murray. He's awesome, dude. I get it, but I think the Vikings like have a fairly decent defense. I mean, they sacked Joe Burrow 5 times last week. If they can just contain his running a little bit, I don't know. And Dalvin Cook can run the ball a little bit on these guys. Like maybe he doesn't get the same opportunity. To Jim's point, I think Tennessee just came out and literally pissed down their leg, and like before they knew it, they were just getting hit in the mouth. Like they'll be a little bit more prepared. I'm just not going to pay 8,200. Not this week for a quarterback. I don't feel like I need to. So I will be fading Kyler.
All right, point taken. All right.